Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today. We are showcasing today three new campaigns on the Spark site, and very much looking forward to introducing those to them in a second. All three very different, but all three very strong businesses that have great potential, and more than anything else, have strong products and strong teams behind them as well. So we're looking forward to doing that. First off, we've got Site Passport, and I'll introduce you to Rob in a second. After that, we have HaloSOS. And finally, bringing up the rear, we have BusterBox. So two of the campaigns that are being showcased today are Spark alumni, both raised with us 2 years ago and have grown and developed their businesses and are raising again at a higher valuation. So investors who invested in them with us 2 years ago have already got a paper increase on their investment, which we're very happy about, and I'm sure they are too. But quickly, just before I do the introductions to the presenters, I just wanted to tell you about a few things about the Spark site and what we've done recently. So last month, we completed a campaign for NetFasa. We raised over 240% of their campaign target, and in total, over 900,000 euros for them. Their initial target was 350,000, so well exceeded that target number. Mike and the team were delighted with the results and have had great confidence that they can execute on their plan to deliver a good return for those who invested into the business. So well done to them, and well done to those who invested in them as well. Hopefully that'll prove to be a nice business for you as an investor. But we've got a very exciting pipeline of new campaigns waiting in the sidelines too. Obviously, we've got BusterBox going live very soon, and you'll hear from Gary shortly. But in addition to that, we've got some very exciting and novel businesses that are being introduced to you very shortly as well. Also, don't forget, unlike other investment vehicles, investing into companies through Spark is with zero commission, and investors pay nothing at all. No commission, no fees for you to ever consider as well. So that's something that I really wanted to kind of flag to you as well. As always, we're keen to have arranged one-to-one meetings with the promoters. So if anyone wants to meet the investors, then please just drop us a line. We'd be very happy to introduce you and kind of arrange a Zoom or even a face-to-face meeting if like. So please reach out to us if you'd like to do that, and we can facilitate that for you. After each presentation that we have today, there'll be a question and answer session. So please, if you do have a question that you'd like to pose to the investors, then please put that into the Q&A box. You'll see that on the bottom of your screen, where we will kind of filter the questions and make sure they are and make sure that they're being asked by the company. So without further ado, let's get started. So first of all, we're starting off with Site Passport. So Rob, if you'd like to click on your camera. Well done. Thanks very much and welcome. So Rob is CEO of Site Passport and is live on the platform and looking for 300,000 euros of an investment. Site Passport is a B2B SaaS product that helps medium and large construction companies to find, manage, and measure their subcontractors. This is especially necessary to ensure that these tight margin relationships add value to the business. They're already live on the platform. They've already raised 190,000. Of their target amount. So Rob, you're very welcome, and if you'd like to share your screen, you can get started on your presentation. Thanks very much.
Great, thanks for that, Chris.
Perfect, that looks good, Rob. Away you go.
Great, okay, thanks again, Chris. So yeah, my name is Rob Fox. I'm the founder and CEO of Site Passport, the critical technology platform used by construction companies to optimize their supply chain. Now, most of you know that construction is a massive industry and it's worth over $12 trillion globally. But what many of you may not know is that the construction industry is actually a subcontractor industry, where over 80% of the value of construction projects is outsourced to subcontractors and suppliers. Now, this means that subcontractor selection presents the greatest risk, but also the greatest opportunity for construction companies. However, incredibly, the selection of these critical subcontractors is mostly based on gut and guesswork rather than accurate data or reliable business intelligence. And you couldn't imagine selecting car insurance, a credit card, or a hotel room without going to a comparison website and having all of the key information available to you. Yet, construction companies make decisions worth millions of euros every day based on incomplete and inaccurate information. And this often leads to serious financial and reputational consequences. And I'll give you a quick example. I was speaking with the managing director of a main contractor recently, who told me that the decision to appoint what turned out to be the wrong electrical subcontractor was going to cost her company over €2 million, which is an incredible sum of money on any construction project. So with over 80% of the value attached to the supply chain, the strategic selection of the right subcontractors and suppliers is critical. And in particular, as Chris says, in construction where the margins can be quite thin. So Site Passport provides a competitive advantage to construction companies by providing them with enhanced business intelligence through supply chain sourcing and data analytics, advanced procurement processes that improve accountability and productivity, and robust subcontractor onboarding to minimize financial and contractual disputes. We also provide live compliance and performance monitoring that is essential to the successful delivery of any project. And we're particularly laser focused on maximizing the supply chain performance in construction, particularly as the global economy faces increased volatility and regulatory pressures, particularly in the area of environmental and social governance, or ESG. And ESG really is a game changer in the whole world of compliance, particularly in construction. Now, as I mentioned, construction is worth over $12 trillion globally, but it's also the second fastest growing industry in the world, and is expected to grow by 25% to 16 trillion in just the next 3 years. So we've identified our market sweet spot, and we have estimated a serviceable addressable market of over 110 million across Ireland and the UK. And our focus on main contractors means a serviceable obtainable market of over 35 million. And by 2024, we expect to see our revenues reach €2 million, and by 2026, for that to double to 4 million. We already have significant traction in the market, with now 15 paying customers, and we just onboarded our most recent customer this week. And we're working with some of the biggest names in the industry, including Walls Construction, iPut, and Clancy Construction. We also have a number of contracts that are in negotiation at this stage with tier one contractors, and we expect to conclude at least 2 of those negotiations by the end of this month. So to give you an indication of the return on investment that we provide to our customers, if you take a €30 million construction project at a cost of us €10,000 for Site Passport service, we deliver savings of over €200,000, which is a 20x return on investment. Now, our business model is based on, it's modular SaaS-based, and our pricing is tiered based on the size of the contractor. And our contracts currently typically range between €3,000 and €36,000 per annum. As I mentioned, we've won several key contracts in Ireland, and we continue to grow our customer base in Ireland. However, our strategic focus for the second half of 2022 will be the UK construction market, where we've already identified that our sweet spot customers are contractors with a turnover of less than £150 million in turnover. We already have some traction in the UK with Irish-based contractors that have operations across the UK. So Site Passport's unique selling point is that we unify all of the essential components of supply chain management, and coupled with data analytics to maximize profitability and performance. And our competitors fall into 3 categories, and we do have some overlap with these systems, but that overlap is not that large. And we've also positioned ourselves to make sure that we're highly complementary to these systems. So for example, one of our competitors in space will be the estimating commercial software. However, what we've positioned ourselves is that the pricing element that is generated by these systems can be fed directly into our platform, and thus enabling better decision-making across the board when it comes to supply chain selection. We also integrate nicely with the site management systems, where we can provide a seamless transfer of data from the pre-construction appointment stage into the site management stage. We've already developed a full integration with Procore Technologies, which is one of the largest construction technology companies in the world, who interestingly IPO'd last year for over $8 billion. And we're also quite complementary to the pre-qualification systems such as Construction Line. Now, a lot of the tier one contractors use Construction Line and Achilles Building Confidence as their first layer of due diligence. However, tier one contractors are not our initial target customers. However, we do integrate with these systems quite well, in that the information that's gathered from the likes of Construction Line can be fed into Site Passport to again optimize decision making around supply chain. So we have a great management team that has a wealth of experience. My own experiences in the area of construction and engineering. I'm a chartered civil engineer, and I worked for tier one main contractors for over 20 years in Ireland and Australia. before I set up SitePassport. Fergal is our Chief Marketing Officer, and again, he has a great wealth of experience working in international technology and broadcasting companies, including ITV. Vinny Lynch, who's our sales lead, has a massive wealth of experience, particularly relevant to SitePassport. He was the CEO and founder of Donseat Construction Technology. Vinny grew the sales with Donseat to over £1 million in the UK. And ultimately, Donseat was acquired by Causeway Technology, who are one of the leading players in the construction technology space. And Vinny just brings that massive wealth of experience, particularly in the area of sales in the construction technology space in the UK. Our software development team is headed up by Tierdad and Jefferson, who are both full stack developers and have been working with SitePass for almost 4 years now at this stage. All of our IP, all of our software is developed in-house, so we can protect our IP and obviously protect the quality of our product delivery. As I mentioned, we're already generating revenues, and this year we're aiming to reach €250,000. By 2024, we expect to reach almost 2 million, and by 2026 to double that to almost 4 million at a profit of 15%. We're raising €300,000 on the Spark crowdfunding platform. As Chris says, we've already raised 190,000, and that's at a valuation of 2.1 million. And as Enterprise Ireland high potential startup clients, we'll also receive funding of up to €200,000 from EI. And this funding will be primarily used for our expansion into the UK construction market. So our ultimate ambition, and for you, the investors, as well as for ourselves, is to be acquired by one of the main players in the construction technology space within the next 5 years. We've already had one acquisition inquiry in 2021. So finally, just a recap on why you should consider an investment in SitePassport. The SitePassport platform solves a critical pain point of any construction project around the selection of supply chain. We provide data analytics to select the appropriate supply chain, and our companies and our customers can achieve a 20x return on their investment. We have a great management team which covers all the key areas of construction, sales, marketing, technology. And we have early traction with 15 paying customers, with revenues approaching €250,000 for this year. And as Chris mentioned earlier on, we're an EIS qualifying company, where a €1,000 investment will only cost you, the investor, a net amount of €600. And the minimum investment is obviously €100. And again, as Chris said, investors pay no commission on the Spark platform. Thank you very much, and I'd be delighted to take any questions.
Rob, thank you very much indeed. Well done. So yeah, got a couple of questions in already. So if you do want to ask a question, please put it into the Q&A box. So if you go down to the bottom part of the Zoom thing, there's a Q&A button there. So please enter your questions in there. So first one in through the door, when you talk about vetting construction products and materials, how does this work? How are you processing this? What are you actually doing, I guess, for Rob?
Yeah, so I suppose the part of the selection of subcontract suppliers is actually the selection of the products that they're going to provide. So that's one of the unique elements that we provide, is that it's not just the vetting of the contractors themselves, it is the vetting of the projects. And we have developed a system whereby, whether it's for environmental, social and governance, or for quality, contractors can understand and vet and see all of the certification that the companies provide, not only for their own company, but for the products they provide as well.
Very good.
Excellent. Rob, I have a question here just regarding the 20x return, the calculations. Can you just kind of maybe expand on that and how that's calculated in terms of the value returned back to the contractor?
Yeah, no, I suppose there's two main elements. Aside from the value that we provide in relation to risk mitigation, the value side of it, I suppose there's two aspects of it. One is in relation to productivity. So the productivity gains that we provide to quantity surveyors and estimators who who use our system, can ultimately increase their productivity by up to 2 or 3 times. And these are expensive, professionals. So of the 20x, 30% of that, 40% of that is a productivity gain. But what we actually do is the 70, 60, 70% is provided by getting better value in the market. So I'm having better intel about who's out in the market, and having better scope and a better way of analyzing the contractors actually provides the most significant part of return in actually getting more competitive quotes, therefore improving the profitability of the main contractor.
Excellent. So like 10,000 invested will return 200,000. I think that was one of the.
Yeah, exactly. And about 140, 130% grand of that is improved buying power. Yeah.
Excellent. Brilliant. Thanks.
Okay, next question. Can you explain in more detail why ESG is going to play such a big role in the business's future?
Yeah, I'll try and give a short answer to that, Chris. I suppose ESG, everybody's heard of ESG, environmental, social governance in most industries, but particularly in construction, it's a big issue. And that's mainly because the viability of construction projects from an ESG perspective is being assessed at the pre-tender stage before even construction projects get to site. So now there's a particular emphasis on and a particular urgency on being able to capture ESG information at the earliest stage in the project. And that's essentially what we help companies with, is to capture that information as accurately and as quickly as possible, to be able to make decisions, decide before a project goes to site, whether from an ESG perspective it's viable and it's going to hit its targets.
Brilliant. Sales and marketing question for you, Rob, that's just after coming in. Regarding engagement with new clients, how are you looking to do that? What's your sales strategy, I suppose, in the UK specifically, but also here in Ireland as well as you expand?
Yeah, so I suppose our initial sales strategy UK is working. As I said, initially we were already working with Irish-based contractors of operations in UK. We're already in discussions with some of UK-based contractors in relation to providing them with our service, particularly around the sourcing. So our strategy in particular is around what we call, I suppose, the land and expand strategy. And we started off with our sourcing solution, which gives a very quick bang for the buck to companies to open up the market to them, and then expanding with our other services. But I suppose Vinny Lynch is going to be a key player in that. Vinny, has the black book of contacts across the construction industry in the UK. He understands the construction market in the UK. As he said himself, he's made the mistakes and he'll help us avoid those mistakes and to accelerate us into the UK market. So Vinny is going to be a key part of our sales and marketing strategy.
Excellent. And just to follow up on that one, just really quickly, is the tier 2, what kind of size of a contractor is a tier 2 kind of contractor in terms of staff, contract values?
Yeah, so I suppose, tiers are not precisely defined in construction, but I suppose tier 2 contractors could be anything below, say, 200 million turnover, and would have, maybe 150 staff, would have, could have 15, 20 projects on the go, spread geographically across an entire country. And they could employ, 400 or 500 subcontractors potentially.
Okay, brilliant.
Big question about regulatory changes. What regulatory changes are on the horizon that might impact the business, and anything that you want to kind of mention?
Yeah, good question. It's a really good question. So again, everything comes down to compliance, and there's new regulations coming in relation to the new safety bill in the UK, which is as a result of the Grenfell tragedy. And again, that relates particularly to the selection of construction products. So that is a big area for us. So that's coming into play will actually boost our potential in the UK, because again, like ESG, we provide the ability to capture that information in the fastest and most accurate way possible.
Excellent.
Excellent. Have we time for one more, Chris?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, perfect. I have actually just one came in there as well. In terms of the modules, what seems to be I suppose the stickiest, or the one that's most sought from contractors?
Yeah, it's a good question. I suppose I'd answer that quickly in two ways. First of all, as I mentioned, our land and expand strategy is initially with our sourcing, which gives great bang for the buck. But actually, it's the compliance, it's the pre-qualification approval, and the whole contracting and onboarding process, which is the stickiest, because I suppose once contractors start to use our system for that, it's very much embedded in their business, and the cost of change is quite significant. We haven't had any churn to date because people just love the solutions that we provide, but that's probably the stickiest one. Yeah.
Excellent. And just just an investor there is looking for a demo, so I'll set that up as well on.
Yeah, great. Yeah, in person, online, whatever. Happy to do either.
Excellent. Okay, well, I think that probably wraps it up for the moment. Thanks very much, Rob. Well done.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Fergal.
We'll get Gary on. Sorry, we'll get Liam onto the call. Liam, are you there? Here he is. Liam, good to see you. Liam is the COO of HaloSOS. Very proud to say that HaloSOS are part of the Spark alumni as well. They raised 160 grand with us 2 years ago now in the summer of 2020, and have used this to scale the business to secure 18 hotels across the US very recently. So that's a nice contract that they've just landed. Many of the investors in the last round have indicated that they will be following their investment, including a small consortium of seasoned investors who'll be increasing their investment amount by a considerable margin, which we're very grateful for, and that's in there. They've already raised 160 grand. They're looking for 450 and are live on the site at the moment. So, Liam, if you'd like to share your screen, you can get started, and we'll. So again, anybody wants to ask a question, please put it into the Q&A. It's a little bit easier if you put it in there rather than the chat. But anyway, fire away, Liam, and I'll see you in a few minutes.
Great, thanks, Chris.
So the very first market that HaloSOS has deployed its safety as a service software to is actually the US hotel market, which is newly legislated and newly regulated, and it consists of about 9 million rooms. So we proved the technology, we proved the commercial model, and now we're looking to build on our recent wins and scale the business. So where did this legislation and regulation come from? So way back in 2018, the largest hotel union in the US identified a real problem. And that real problem was that 58% of all their members like Maria, had been sexually assaulted or harassed by a hotel guest. But that horrific statistic was a catalyst for change. And the major brands came together, the Hiltons and Marriotts, and they said, right, if you're going to operate our brand, you must provide a staff safety solution to all your housekeepers by the end of December 2023. So from our perspective, we're solving two problems. The first problem we're solving is around Maria's concerns for her safety, both in a personal safety incident like an assault, or in the all too frequent happening now active shooter incident. And the second problem we're solving at the same time is compliance with legislation and new laws for the hotel operators. But let's look at how we do that. So if we imagine a couple of scenarios. So Maria arrives to work every morning. She comes in, she picks up a smart wearable from our docking station, and as opposed to some dumb panic button, and off she goes about her day. So let's imagine Maria walks into a room, she feels uncomfortable, there's some guy with a towel around his waist. Maria knows three things at that point in time. The first thing she knows is she's multiple ways of generating an alarm. She can either press the button on the device, or if she's in a struggle and her hands are occupied, she can call out a keyword and that generates the alarm. The second thing Maria knows is that the responding team know exactly where she is. So we deploy a series of beacons throughout the property, and if she moves from room to room, we know, or they know, what room to go to help Maria. And the third thing she knows is that the team are already on the way. The system operates in near real time. From the time that alert is raised to the time the responding team receive it, it's lightning fast. Second scenario is the one that we're all becoming way too familiar with, is active shooter incidents. So the way we do that is, imagine the scenario, active shooter walks into the lobby, front desk, security, whoever the responders are, they create an alert. And during that time, they need to know two things. One, they need to know where all the staff are. And the second thing they need to know is they need to know that Maria's got a message telling her to follow a particular procedure. We're currently up and running. This is out of date even since we did the last one, Chris. We're currently up and running at 5 hotels now. We've monitored far in excess of 130,000 staff safety hours. And I would argue that our metrics are far superior to any of our competitors. But again, the regulations and the market size. So the regulation, or the brand mandate that first came in, that has the deadline of December 2023, covers about 5 million rooms in the US. So if you operate any one of these brands, or a myriad of other brands, about another 40 on top of this, you must supply a staff safety solution by the end of 2023, or lose your brand. On top of that, then, there's another about 4 million rooms in the US that are subjected to legislation. They may not be brands. In fact, they're probably just motels or mom and pops, but they are subjected to legislation in the cities, they're subjected to legislation in the States and potentially at some point in time federally. But the big ones at the moment are California legislation is pending, and Florida legislation is also pending. Currently, of the 9 million rooms, there's about 80% yet to be completed. As Chris said, we raised back in September 2020, so almost 2 years ago, 160K off Spark and some matching funding and grants from EI. And I think it's important to say what we actually did with that amount of money. So over 2 years, we did this. We created a small team of kind of old heads and young guns. We created some competitive advantages by creating our own rack charging station, which we make here. We deployed a technical trial site in Buswells in Dublin. But more importantly, we did this. We secured a 600-bedroom hotel, kilometre from the White House in downtown DC, in the middle of the pandemic. Now, it's important to say it's a Marriott hotel, but Marriott don't own hotels. We're actually contracted with a company called Crestline. So Crestline have another 126 properties that we're trying to scale across at the moment. This gentleman here is Donovan. He's the GM of that property and a Crestline employee, and a phenomenal, he's given us a super reference, and he's advocating for us across the other 126 properties within the Crestline group. That's Marvin and I at a trade show in Dallas last year, and that's what we'll be spending a lot of our budget on, sales and marketing at this point going forward. But I think the most important thing was we did this, Donahoe Hospitality. We secured this contract earlier this year. What it does for us, it secures our position in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. We're going live next Wednesday in our first Las Vegas hotel. And it gives us access to all these other brands and referenceability across these other brands. That contract is worth in excess of $700,000 to us. Just in terms of what we've done, so right now we have over 1,100 rooms installed across 4 properties. Currently contracted but not installed, we have nearly 4,000 rooms or 16 properties. And our pipeline to December of this year is about 23,000 rooms. What I'll draw your attention to is these top ones. So the brands are very nice and we're all familiar with them, but these are the customers, the Donahoes, the Capstones, the Crestlines. They're the actual customers. These are the operating customers operating companies who we sign contracts with. This as part of our pipeline, Hershey, 84 properties, Concord, about 8 or 10 properties in Colorado. Most likely the next cab off the rank is this one here, Arlo Hotels in New York City, which will give us a presence there. This is how we sell. As I said, we very much target the operational companies and the owners. We do that through a series of partners. Yesterday, we had a super conversation with a new partner that will potentially bring us into the Caribbean. These mandates actually apply to Canada and the Caribbean as well. So this is a super new opportunity for us. And our channel is essentially hybrid with direct touch from us and a channel sales approach. Business model, pretty straightforward, readily accepted by the market. It's done on a per room basis, $50 per room install and $3 per room per month over a 3-year period. And that essentially means from we're a recurring revenue business. So that's how we measure ourselves. We got some good questions in just before the call around how we're scaling. And I think it's important, you'll see here, we're well on target for this year. And then you see this jump here in 2023. So on the next slide, it's kind of complex, but what it highlights is why you see this big jump. And why you see this big jump is for one of 3 reasons. The first reason is the pressure of the 5-star brand mandate really comes down on these guys, and they have to buy now. They've no option. They have to deliver by the end of 2023. The second thing is you get legislation being implemented in somewhere like California, which is the most hotels in the US, and Florida, second most hotels. Huge driver for us. And the third one is union mandates. So union mandates are being heavily pushed in DC and New Mexico, which are driving the market forward. The other little thing to take note of on this slide is this is where we break even. So we break even at around 25,000 rooms. Bearing in mind, we already have contracts or deployments in place for about 6,000 of those. End of 2024, out of the 9 million rooms, 300,000 rooms gives us 10 million ARR. these are our competitors. The important thing to say is a lot of information here, but the important thing to say is we have come up against every one of these, including AT&T and Assa Abloy, who are a big competitor and potential exit partner for us, and we've beaten every single one of them. The reason we've beaten them is because of this. Every single one is a dumb panic button. Essentially, it's a sunk cost when you invest in their technology. With us, it's a smart wearable. So they cannot do voice activation. They cannot do proper location accuracy. They cannot do proper crisis events. But ultimately, they can't do this. They cannot have a proper product roadmap. So from our perspective, product roadmap is driven by the customers. The hotels are asking for access control, which is a very simple thing for us to do, but the impact on the hotel is huge. So that's the first thing we're looking at the moment, followed by simple messaging. So for us, it is a case of we have an ability to go forward, where with those guys, they're kind of stuck in the mud and they can't go anywhere. In terms of funding, EI funding, we're expecting to be in about 250, but off the back of the Spark platform, we're looking at 450,000 raise at a 3 million pre-money valuation. In terms of the team, it's a bunch of old heads and a bunch of young guys. Essentially, between the team, we have designed, built, deployed mission-critical communications across 8 countries. And then some of the young ones keep us in touch with what's happening and the latest trends in technology. In terms of the exit, there's a lot of M&A goes on in this space. There is one IPO, but most likely for us, it'll be one of these 2 guys. So Assa Abloy, major competitor. Solution, I would argue, is barely fit for purpose. The way they grow is they buy companies. So they've had over 120 acquisitions in the last 20 years. So we're actually niggling at some of their properties at the moment just to get their attention. Or Dormakaba. Dormakaba is a direct competitor to Assa Abloy, who don't have a solution and are not a competitor to us. So we're aligning ourselves with them and poking at Assa Abloy to try and create that opportunity for an exit. I think we've covered quite a bit of ground there, Chris, but if there's anything we haven't hit, yeah, let's open it up to any questions.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Yep, there are a good few that have come in, so I'll start off. One of the questions is talking about the fact that you are an Irish company, but operating in the US pretty much at the moment. I'm sure there's other elements. So how can you overcome this perceived disadvantage to that geography difference there?
I can take that, Chris. Hi, everybody. Fiona Moloney here, CEO and co-founder. We're working predominantly right now with the hospitality industry. One of its, talking about ESG, one of its key tenets is diversity. We've not felt that we've had any negative perceived or otherwise kickback about being an Irish business. Our plans going back to April 2020, when we had our flights booked to go to America, was to be on the ground and be part of that development. However, our connect with the industry is they are hospitable, they are very friendly and very open, and every hotel that we've worked with has had a long-standing Irish connection, which was helpful. So far we haven't felt that we've had any negative kickback, and our plans are to be located on a part-time basis or maybe even a more permanent basis in the United States. And we've investigated our abilities to travel on the visas that are required to do that and the locations that are best suited for the business as well.
I think the other thing to say is, because, as Fiona kind of mentioned, there are resellers and partners on the ground. The perception is, like, so Dickerson are on the East Coast. The perception is Dickerson are the people, the HaloSOS reps in the country. So it's not really as big an issue as you think.
Good. Very cool. Fergal's not there, I'll ask the question. What is to stop Apple buying and incorporate?
Sorry. Can you hear me now?
I can, Fergal, but I'm halfway through my question, so you can do the next one. What's to stop Apple buying and incorporating this into Apple Watch?
Yeah, so I guess the big differentiator here would be, and this is a hotel purchasing decision. The Apple Watch, I think it costs about $600 or $700. I'm not really sure how much it is. It's a lot. Our wearable device costs $85. So that's what it costs. So from a hotel perspective, if they break one, they have to pay for it. So with us, they pay whatever it is, $150 to replace it, right? You break an Apple Watch, you're suddenly paying $700 or $800. So they're not going to do that for a single locked down application on an Apple device. They just won't do it. The other thing is that Apple, essentially they're a consumer company. They're not really focused on this type of staff safety awareness. At some point in time, we would potentially, for a very kind of high level 5-star accommodation, deploy it on an Apple Watch. But for the moment, we're just sticking with the Android solution. And I think it's highly unlikely that Apple would make that move.
Okay.
Excellent. Thanks. Sorry, I just lost internet there for a second. Good question here, actually, regarding the incident reporting back to the hotel group. So do you track how often staff use the device and how many incidents are there, and can that be reported back to the operators?
Yeah. Yeah, we do that currently, actually. We do let them know when the device has been used. The devices have been tested, and they are tested for all new employees coming on. So all of the alerts that are raised actually happen in the housekeeping room, and we know what's going on. We actually track them ourselves. And particularly at this early stage, we get the alerts coming in, and then we provide those reports on a monthly basis back to the hotel, let them know the duration, the time, all of the minute details.
All the details. Yeah. Excellent.
How, do you sell or lease the hardware to the hotels, and who does the installation, please?
So it's a really interesting one. So to hit the first part is, we retain ownership of the wearables and we retain ownership of the beacon infrastructure. And the reason we do that is because there's a value in it where we can unsell different services. So if you just look at the wearable for a start, we don't use the screen function that much. So we can unsell that to third parties to do messaging or to do some type of push on the screen. So we can do that. The other thing is with the beacon infrastructure, and we have a call this evening at 5 with a South Carolina company who want to do proximity marketing. So for us to do proximity marketing with them, we just have to provide them with our database. But obviously there's a revenue stream then for us off the back of our infrastructure, whether it be the wearable or whether it be the beacon. Second part of the question, sorry, what was it again?
Who does the installation?
Oh yeah, installation is done by our partners on the ground over there. To give you an idea, we just deployed the Holiday Inn in Washington this week, and it was 550 beds, I think, Fiona, something like that. We were in and out in 3 days.
Very good.
Excellent. I have a question just around the IP and patents. Liam, can you just maybe expand a little bit on that? What?
Yeah, so we do have 2 innovation patents registered for different aspects of the business. One is for the voice activation, and one is for the mass crisis notification, because we're building a personalized AI engine. So rather than just saying, please leave the building, we're actually going to build something that says, Fergal, you go down this way, follow this stairway. But the patents associated around that are called innovation patents. So innovation patents are a very unique Australian concept, which means that they're not invented patents. So you don't have to run through those hoops of spending a fortune and spending time as a startup trying to figure that out. But what it does do for you, it draws a line in the sand and says, this is your priority date. This is when it was registered. So anybody else trying to do that can no longer register a patent against it. There would be a lot of work to do in them, but what it does do is it establishes that priority date for a period of 8 years and gives us a level of protection without spending a lot of money.
Excellent, brilliant, very good.
Great. Okay, that's our time, yeah. I'm afraid, guys. So thank you very much for those. Any other questions that we've got, and there are a few here, we'll get them answered offline. But thank you very much indeed, guys. Gary, if you'd like to start your camera, we'll get you on track as well. So this is Gary. This is Gary Redmond from BusterBox. Gary is the CEO, another alumni of the Spark site, and back in 2020 again, BusterBox raised 167,000 from over 80 investors on the Spark site. So we're delighted to see Gary back again. Not quite live yet, but will be very soon. BusterBox is a monthly subscription service for dogs. They help dog lovers save time and delight their dog by delivering fun toys and healthy treats to their doors. In the time since they raised with us last time, they've increased their active monthly users by almost 50% and have dramatically increased their lifetime value for each client too. So, Gary, I'll hand it over to you and I'll see you in a few minutes for some question and answers.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Gary Redmond and I'm the CEO and co-founder of BusterBox, a subscription service for dogs in Ireland and the UK. Also on the founding team are my two childhood friends, Liam Brennan and Paul Carrick, and we have a total headcount now in BusterBox of 10 employees. Put simply, BusterBox is the best thing you can get to make your dog happy. Dog parents want to treat their dogs. Dog parents want to make their dogs happy as their dog makes them. We make it easier by delivering amazing experiences with top quality and unique products and accessories. When someone joins our pack, our focus on satisfying their dog's individual likes means they love their monthly delivery. We've just over 9,500 subscribers, with 90% of our customers in the UK market. Coming into 2020, we had just 2,500 subscribers, so it's been a significant growth trajectory over the past couple of years. We also have a 4.7 out of 5 Trustpilot score. In 2020, we had a great year with 315% revenue growth, and we followed that up with 55% revenue growth in 2021. We did just under 2.5 million in sales last year. We also have highly profitable subscriptions with over 4 times return on CAC from each customer, and our profit margin is almost 50%. We're currently generating just over 225,000 euro monthly recurring revenue. Our goal for 2022 is to reach 28,000 subscribers across the UK and Ireland post-investment. And we're continuing to grow our email list and social following and are preparing to rapidly increase our customer acquisition. So we decided, what's changed since the last time we did a Spark crowdfunding is that we decided midway through 2021 that running a deep discount offer was not the way to deliver long-term value and growth. You do attract a lot of customers, but many people simply want to get the discounted box and not continue with the subscription. So we decided to move away from that and switch to a free extra product or free gift offer, which has been a big success for our business metrics. The one issue that you run into is investing in higher quality customers requires significantly more cash to grow. So just some conversion stats. Our conversion rate is almost 2.5% without running any discounts on the box. So we now feel it's the perfect time to scale up our subscribers. We capture thousands of new email leads per month from our website, which allows us to keep our CAC down and also upsell other product lines to our email subscribers. We recently signed on a creative agency to improve the branding and make the business look top quality and professional across all channels. Also in 2021, we took on 2 industry partner businesses as investors into BusterBox, and this gives us a significant advantage over the competition. How it's going to work is that partner 1 has years of connections and know-how creating and shipping dog toys out of China, and they're assisting us in creating our own brand of unique BusterBox toys that cannot be found in any pet shops. This will allow us to have a more unique box offering, and customers won't be able to price our products versus things they can buy on Amazon or in a pet shop. The second one is partner 2 will then store and manage our products after shipments from China, and before picking and packing our boxes for fulfillment in their dedicated BusterBox warehouse. This gives us a capacity to rapidly scale up, and it really reduces the amount of money we have to invest in inventory, in equipment, or anything like that. So all the funds invested will be mainly going to acquire customers and our team. So we've made some other changes, not just to our offer, but to the operations as well. So we've been working hard on the sourcing side to streamline and reduce costs wherever possible. We've increased our subscription prices and have started to generate additional revenue by referring customers back to our store to repurchase their favorite products and also add more products to their next box. In August 2022, we have a deal coming online with a treat company. Essentially, what we're going to do is we're going to create our own brand of BusterBox treats, and we've basically signed a deal which will allow us to get a better price from the supplier, because we will essentially guarantee them 24 orders per month. They're going to provide 2 bags of treats in each box, which will give us a better rate. On the toy side, our industry partner sourcing comes online from July, which will open us up to higher profit margin and capacity for scale. And we're also developing new products and add-ons like flea and worming treatments to increase revenue from our current customers. Our customers love our products and our brand. We get a lot of positive feedback across social, and as I said, 4.7 out of 5 on Trustpilot with over 1,500 reviews. Each box comes with 5 high-quality items, including 2 unique toys, generally things you won't find in a local pet shop, as well as 3 healthy natural treat items. You can also get an extra premium toy for a little extra on site, which is our upsell. Dogs are a huge, growing and resilient market. Over 24% of all UK households have a dog, and £10 billion is spent on pets there every year. The money spent on pets has increased 25% in just the past 6 years. Online pet spend has doubled in the last 5 years. Specialized dog products are rapidly taking market share from incumbent brands. And the big one is that dog owners continue to spend the same or even more in a recession on their dogs. We have 2 main customer types. The first is female young professionals between 25 and 39, normally working full-time and with no children. Second is female empty nesters between 45 and 55. These are people that the children would have moved out of the house and the dog is the most important family member left. These are the sweet spot customers that have the increased spending power to treat their dogs each month. We've built a highly relatable brand, and we constantly receive positive feedback and social posts from our customers across social media platforms, which gives us great social proof. The majority of our sales come from online marketing, which is Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and email. We're very skilled at running ads on these channels, and all of our advertising and sales is done in-house by the founders. We're not raising money to find an audience, we're raising to meet the demand for our product. We know who our customers are, where they are, and how to access them. We'll also seek to branch out into new channels such as affiliate networks and insert swaps with large e-commerce brands post-investment. We know these channels are working for large competitors and mentors in the UK, so by using them, we'll be able to scale up rapidly in the UK. Something we've been focused on a lot recently is increasing the average revenue per user and lifetime value by upselling and cross-selling in their online store. So we're doing more and more emails, texts to our current customers, trying to increase the actual average revenue per user. Also by selling products at a higher retail price in our online store, it gives us a better margin overall. We're also exploring new products such as a mega chewer box for dogs that destroy their toys quickly. We're in the process of launching a joint venture with a dog trainer. We're looking to launch it as an online membership where customers can join and get personalized dog training, puppy training for their dogs as part of Buster's Dog School. We ran a trial in the past in Ireland for dog food. It was a really great trial. We had over 100 customers signed up with great metrics, but unfortunately with Brexit, we had to cut it off. So we actually have recently re-added it to our online store, not as a subscription, but something our customers can rebuy, and we're starting to incentivize people to buy dog food from us as well. We're now also looking at the EU for the next target growth region, looking at France, Poland, and Germany. We'll probably choose one of these countries first before going into any others. But these 3 countries have shown potential with their large dog population, relatively low CPMs, and average pet spend. Being in Europe will make us more attractive to someone like BarkBox, as we've navigated the terrain for them when they eventually decide to expand from the US. BarkBox IPO'd at the end of 2020, were valued at $2 billion, I think it was. As I said, we've also tested the dog food in the past. We've relaunched it in our online store in April and started to send customers over there with texts and emails and things like that. Long term, we envision it to be a second subscription, though, where customers could sign up along with the toys and treats. So we're currently fundraising in order to increase our advertising budgets mainly. As I said, there's not a lot of investment required in any infrastructure or equipment or anything like that. And we're really held back at the moment. We're getting about 40 to 50 subscribers per day. But we can't afford to get to, even if you do a quick calculation to 100 subscribers, we're spending about €33 to get a customer signed up, which means to get even 3,000 customers in a month, you need 99 grand in the bank. So we're currently hampered from increasing our advertising budgets by the amount of cash flow we have available. So then what we intend to do with the investment is accelerate the growth without going crazy in terms of hiring a massive team, keep it as lean as possible. Just some key hires around actually helping us to achieve the marketing goals. And in 12 months, we envision being able to handle increase in advertising budgets by having a positive cash flow. We've also raised very little money so far compared to our competitors in the UK especially. This means we've had to pay very close attention to our metrics and cash balance, which gives us discipline to invest the money wisely post-investment. We've also got great results from very little money that we've actually invested. And as you can see here, our growth has been quite strong over that period of time. So we have two main competitors in the EU market. One of them is Vivadogs. They seem to aim for the lower end of the market with quite a sort of cheap subscription offering. They're operating in Spain. They have a few subscribers in the UK, but they're actually looking to exit the business, and they actually offered it to BusterBox to acquire them. We're still in discussions, but it's probably something we're not really going to go ahead with because they seem to have aimed for a really cheap subscription offering. We don't think it will really align with our customers and values. Another one is Woof Woof, who launched in Turkey around the same time as us. He's raised significant investment, but seems to focus his marketing on month-to-month subscriptions instead of gaining long-term committed subscribers on 6 or 12-month subscriptions like we do. As you can see, we've been steadily increasing the revenue since we launched, and with the correct funding, we can accelerate to a profitable position by the start of next year. Our profit margin has significantly improved over the past few years, and with our partners on board, this will continue to get better. We will need to expand the team in order to help us achieve our goals for the business. So our goal then with the investment, as I said, is mainly to increase the advertising budget, branch out into new channels that we haven't been able to explore without having the funding. And our goal is to get to €500,000 monthly recurring revenue in the next 12 months. And then over the next couple of years is to optimize the product and improve the retention and the lifetime value by essentially making improvements to the product, as I said, and also introducing higher tiered subscriptions like the Mega Tour and the dog food, and also add-ons and other things customers can tack onto their subscription, like flea and worming, as I mentioned. Then we'll continue to gain market share across the European market, and we expect to be acquired by a large pet chain or BarkBox looking to expand from the US. There's a lot of M&A activity in this market recently, including the largest e-commerce acquisition in history being Chewy.com acquired for $3.35 billion in April 2017. And the money will be mainly used, as I said, for increasing marketing budgets, expanding to new channels. We'll also need to improve the product to increase the average revenue per user and reduce the churn. And our key hires are marketing director, sales executive to help us, someone ideally with experience scaling up a direct-to-consumer brand. We recently hired a sales executive who's in charge of brand partnerships and offline marketing with BusterBox. So we're looking to expand the team really just around the core marketing objectives for the business. We are enterprise Ireland clients. With the funding that they've offered to us is up to €150,000 along with the Spark crowdfunding. And we also are EIS approved. So you can get 40% of your investment as a tax refund in BusterBox. Thank you.
Great. Gary, thank you very much indeed. Time for a few questions here. What about supply chain? Obviously, an amount of your stuff is coming in from China. Have you had any supply chain disruptions at all during COVID or even currently?
Yeah, I mean, there was certainly struggles, but we managed to get by. And we haven't missed any fulfillment. We managed to get things at the last minute, but it's starting to sort of calm down now. And as I said, we have our industry partners on board now who are able to allow us to plan much further into the future and also create our own products from China. So that's kind of a big advantage we have, is that they have a lot of experience and the timelines and things like that, and the cash flow balance. We don't have to pay deposits or anything from the products coming from China. It's all managed by our industry partner, who obviously have taken a stake in the business. So the better we do, the better they do.
Yeah, absolutely. Perhaps you can just unshare your screen actually while we're in the Q&A, please, Gary. Thanks.
Hi, Gary. Yeah, well done on your achievements in sales last year. And I have a question here just on that. On revenue, the average percentage of revenue is can you elaborate on what that is represented by, kind of standard and general expenses? So what's your cost effectively?
Operating expenses, is it?
Yes, your burn compared to your revenue. I think that's what's been asked here. Yeah.
So is it cash burn or operating expenses, or?
It's your revenue represented by your standard general administrative expenses.
Okay, so we're doing around 225 grand a month. Take off that. We have our operating expenses are between 40 and 45, including all of our wages, staff wages, rent, light, heat, or whatever. And the biggest cost we have obviously is marketing. We're spending between 40 to 50,000 a month on marketing, and the COGS then are 45% of what the minus VAT figure is of 225,000. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks.
You mentioned the 3 countries that you're going into, but I've got a question here. Which one do you think is going to be kind of the predominant one out of the Germany, Poland, and France, Gary? Which one do you think is going to be the next one in?
We're still doing the research on it. There's positives and negatives to every country. I mean, when you're going over to some of these countries in Europe, some of them are not so keen on using their cards for subscriptions. That's the case in Germany. France might be a good one. So in terms of choosing a priority, it might be France or Germany. Poland was an interesting one when we looked, because we looked at the dog toy prices. We looked at, what's the kind of average spend per dogs on dogs over there, and it kind of was one we didn't really think of. So we haven't really made a decision on exactly which one to go with first, but we'll certainly just do one first, because obviously you'll have to hire multilingual agents, and you'll have to hire somebody to help us with our marketing over there, because we do know operating in Europe, you generally want to be speaking their language. I mean, you can get away with it in some countries. Maybe Germany will be better than France. So yeah, it's a lot of things we have to weigh up, but I mean, they're all high potential. And as I said, there's positives and negatives.
Very good.
Excellent. Good question here, actually. Just given your success in the dog-centric market, in future, would you consider branching out to other pets like cats? Can it be replicated in with other pets, or is it the main focus purely on the canine space?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one. Some people who have a dog will have a cat as well. And the only thing is, there's not a very, from what I know, like you've got BarkBox in the US, who's a gigantic dog subscription box with millions of subscribers. There's not such a big demand, as far as I'm aware, from what research we've done. There's no gigantic cat box. Also, just people's relationship. I know cat people love their cats, right? But dogs, when the box arrives, the big experience that BusterBox delivers is actually, the thing we actually sell more than toys and treats for your dog is the experience when the box arrives. The dog goes crazy, the dog knows the next one's for them, and that's why the customers stay subscribed. Cats can get excited, but as you know yourself, if the cat minds you rather than you own, or cat owns you rather than you owning the cat, right? So what we would do, though, in terms of deepening the funnel and going into new markets, we'd probably go deeper on dogs. So as I mentioned, like dog food, add-ons like flea and worming. We're actually talking about doing maybe a really premium box, because there's obviously talk of recession now, right? So how do we adapt? One thing we're doing is increasing the average revenue from our customers by cross-selling, but also, could we go to maybe some sort of membership model where they would get better prices, or go the other way, go to a really premium model where those kind of models wouldn't be as affected by people who would be hurt by a recession. So, we're in a good industry in terms of people's love for their dogs. That's not going to go away.
Excellent, thanks.
Question in here about the customer acquisition cost, the CAC rate. Do you see that dropping any further than, I think 33 was the number that you put up there, Gary?
Yeah. So the thing about the CAC is it could go both ways. We've had months where it's got like you branch out into a new channel like TikTok. We had a reduction in our CAC because obviously it was new and fresh. Obviously, I wouldn't say we're anywhere near the top of the market in the UK, but obviously when you get to deeper and deeper into the market, the CAC will go up. But our goal is to obviously optimize the channels that we know what we're working now, branch out into new channels that may bring a temporary reduction in CAC, but the further you go into it, it will go up over time. So our goal is to increase the value of the business, of the customers, of the metrics, so that we can afford to pay a higher CAC, because whoever can pay the most for the customer will win.
Very good.
Excellent. And that leads me in nicely to this one, just in terms of unique visitors to the site and overall visitors, what are those numbers looking like now, Gary? I remember they were quite high when you raised last time.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly of the traffic, but we're getting about 35 to 40,000 visitors a month. So I think it's about 1,000 a day, maybe 1,500 a day. I could be wrong, to be honest with you. I didn't actually expect this question, so I'll have to go back. If the investor wants to know, I can give them the correct figures.
Yeah, we can get back offline. Yeah, excellent. Okay.
Great. Right, we've run out of time, guys. Thanks very much indeed, and thanks for everyone, all of the contributors today. So BusterBox is going live very, very soon. Haven't actually got a day for it yet, but it's imminent. But the other 2 campaigns are live on the site at the moment. So you've heard from them all now, and I think you'll agree that they're all very serious contention for investment. We've got a number of one-to-one meetings already set up for the guys, and if you'd like to avail of that service as well, we're happy to help you out on that. So please do so. So we'll be going to have more and more face-to-face meetings and investor evenings as the months go on now. So please keep an ear out for those. They're very useful, and hopefully you find them interesting to not only meet the presenters, but also kind of touch base with other investors as well. So so thank you very much for today, and we look forward to seeing you all very soon. Thanks very much indeed. Okay.
Thanks, Chris.
Guys.
Perfect.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
you. Bye-bye.